Good evening everyone and welcome along to PSGL. We are here for the PS tier. Of course it is season 30 F3 round number 4 of the championship as we take in the French Grand Prix from the circuit Paul Ricard. Bonjour everyone, my name is James Hay, going to be taking you to the stream as always on a Monday night, and joining me in the commentary box as always it is Mr. Otaku Logan. Logan, how you doing?
Hola amigo. Oh sorry, that's Spanish, isn't it? Oops, and we're not even going to Spain this season because the game hates it. But yes, Paul Ricard, probably one of the more interesting circuits on the calendar. Of course, it used to be it used to be on the calendar, and then they removed it. They went to Manicourt, and then they made it a test track, and then they made it a race track again. So, but yeah, it doesn't change the fact that this is one unusual circuit because it has loads of runoff.
It does have loads of runoff, and it has around 200 different layouts, I think this track also has as well, which hopefully nobody will get lost out in track, because there is 15 corners that everyone has got to get around, of course, at the circuit Paul Ricard. Let me run you through, then, the championship standings coming into tonight. I didn't think the standings would be ready, by the way, before the start of the race, so big thank you to DV19, and, if I zoom in, Menno leading the way on 24 points after a very, very good drive, I've got to say, even though he got outdone around the outside of Macedon towards Casino Square last week. He leads the championship on 24 points. Joey there in second, despite a DNF in second on 20 points. Matthew, the reserve, now a full-time driver in Mercedes replacing Karem. He is third on 17 points. Then a tie for fourth between Marcados, Rudy and Ron. Two of those three actually DNF last week. Ron picking up, of course, third. And they tied for fourth on 16 points. Will Murdoch in seventh on 13 points. Probably driver of the day last week, if I've got to be honest. DV19 there as well on 12 points. Nuff is also tied for Will Murdoch on 7th. DV19 in 9th, and then Izza ran off the top 10 along with Cortez on 10 points. Denzo, Trinity, Batuxai, Cameron Dowds, Lewis, Isu, Maras and Rexnig have so far picked up points this season. And Menno, of course, holding that 4-point advantage. But it comes to show, first three races, if it's anything to go by, we might get another different winner tonight.
Yes, indeed, of course. After seeing... Who was it 1-1 last week? It's been a week. Please remind me again. Matthew, yes, thank you. Who was actually a reserve, I believe, and then he became a Mercedes driver just tonight after Karem's departure. Yes, it could be anyone's race tonight. Of course, we did see Cameron Dowds get another 10-second penalty last night for an incident in Monaco. I'm trying to look for what he did. He caused a collision with Maris and damaged Maris's wing and pretty much ruined his race. Also have to mention the Dutch Missile has got a qualifying ban for causing a collision with Menno, and it damaged his front wing as well. So we're not going to be seeing everyone take to the track tonight.
Definitely not. Yeah, definitely not. And I think one person in particular, judging by the comments that we had on the stream last week, might be very happy that Dutch Missile has got a qualifying ban. Unfortunately, of course, with Dutch Missile picking up that qualifying ban, he will have to load, of course, a setup. I think it's within the rules and regulations that, of course, you can go out on an actual lap and then put in your setup and then come back into the pit lane on your actual out lap. So I think that could be allowed, and I'm sure that will be the case for Dutch Missile if he is racing here tonight. Constructor standings as well. Red Bull leading the way on 40 points. Alpine in second on 33. Haas in third on 28. Williams in fourth on 21. AlphaTauri in fifth on 19. Mercedes and Aston Martin tied for sixth on 10. McLaren in eighth on 9. Alfa Romeo in ninth on 8. And Ferrari in 10th on 4 points. Red Bull, of course, leading the way. 7 points the advantage. Still anyone's game, I think, in terms of the constructors, given that we are only into round 4 of the championship.
Yes, indeed. 12 rounds to go, including this one tonight. You never know what way it can go. We'll have to see how it changes things once we're racing here, because, of course, there's going to be penalties everywhere. There is a lot of penalties if you go too wide and abuse the track limits, and you certainly don't want to do that, especially with the very unique and state-of-the-art runoff area system they have. You go on the runoff area, you'll actually be much more grippier than on the actual track. And that's actually a bad thing because it will ruin your tyres. And if you go in the red zone, your tyres are going to even be more worn. So please be careful when you're out there.
Yeah, definitely so. I think one-stop strategies, of course, are going to be the order of the day as well in terms of the race. First of all, though, we go into qualifying around the Circuit Paul Ricard, 5.8 kilometres and then 3.6 mile, of course, 15 turns awaiting our drivers out on track. One down in towards turn 1 and then one down in towards turn 8, of course, at the end of the first straight, basically down the back straight, and then that intertwines, of course, with Le Chicane Nord. Yes, I'm not going to try and put a French accent on in terms of my pronunciation of some of the corners tonight. But it is going to be fantastic to see, of course, how everything develops, and with the championship being so wide open, of course, going into round 4 of the championship, and with it being dry, we should see drivers go, I would say, what, 28, 29 here?
Yeah, I should think so. Of course, I actually haven't played the game for a while because I have a life. I think everyone here has a life, but, you know, I have the bigger life of everyone because I am a commentator, and if I were driving, I'd probably be, let's just say, distracted, I guess. Probably not a correct excuse. But I should also mention, by the way, ooh, the pit entry. Yeah, what's up? What's happened?
Comment there from Charlie, apparently in the comment section. Rain after 30 minutes in the race.
Oh boy, that is going to put a spin on things. So we might be going... They're all switching to mediums by the looks of it. I think they're doing that as a strategic ploy so that they don't have to change to soft. They can just go on to the intermediate tyres immediately as it starts to rain. DRS disabled is going to be the warning shot for that one. As you can see, look, a lot of drivers on the mediums already in the pit lane, and Menno is the only driver out. Scratch that. Cameron Dowds has just left the pits as well. I was going to mention before I was rudely interrupted. Okay, not really. The pit entry has caused a bit of controversy. Of course, as you saw in PCF1, Jarno Otmir was penalised, losing him the race to his teammate Jake Benham for crossing the pit lane line. Rule 6. 6.1 on the stewards' briefings for this race. When pitting, crossing the solid, in underline, white line separating the track and the pit entry with a full wheel or more is prohibited. When pitting, all 4 wheels must be on or within the white line, delimiting the pit entry when crossing the transversal solid white line. Once committed to the pit entry, drivers are not allowed to rejoin the track. Crossing the solid white line, separating the track and the pit exit with a full wheel or more is prohibited and will result in a penalty. Of course, that is standards, but of course 6.1 and to 6.3 on the briefings in the Discord, you can see, will be pretty much paramount to the stewards' inquiries at the end of the race, because, you know, it is very easy to cut that area. The dashed line is fine, but the solid one is a big no-no, as we see Menno on his lap.
Yeah, 22 flat through the first sector from Menno. His first sector, he misjudged it coming through turn 1 slightly. He had to correct the steering going into the corner, and it's just set him up nicely. You normally see a sub 22 through the first sector. Menno now coming down in towards Le Chicane Nord at turns 8 and then through the right-hander of turn 9, and he nearly lost it coming through the exit of turn 8 there, and now through the right-hander of 9 and on towards the hill in towards turn number 10. Of course, no DRS zone actually here, being halfway down the first half of the Mistral straight. Menno coming through the right-hander of turn number 10, and then through turn number 11, where I've seen quite a few drivers take the outside line to try and get an overtake around there. I wonder if we'll see that, of course, in the race, as Menno now comes in toward the left-hander of turn 12, then through the right-hander of turn 13. He's just got Cortez off the left-hand side there, as he now comes through in toward Lac at turn number 14, and then in towards Pont at turn number 15, and that is pretty much a lap of the French Grand Prix circuit over and done with. As now Menno on the run to the line. It's going to be around a 1:28, I think, to begin off with, to the line. 29.1, so not too far off what we should be expecting from these guys. 29.1 from Menno, and of course he is going to look to try and extend his championship lead tonight. Yes,
indeed, Menno, the current championship leader, trying to extend it tonight. I should mention, if you're talking about turn 11 earlier, yeah, it is one of those unusual corners where it just feels like it goes on forever as we see Cameron Dowds crossing the line in just any second now. But yes,
Ooh.
a lot of people have taken different lines at turn 11. It looks like the going on the outside is the optimum strategy. It's probably gained a lot of drivers' time once they get out of there and into turn 12. A lovely slingshot corner. But yes, turn 10 is flat out, so you're going to be seeing a lot of action there perhaps. We have seen it in PSGL, I do believe. That was a lot of fun to watch, as Cameron Dowd is actually going on the red stuff. Don't do that, please. So yeah, turn 11, an interesting corner.
Yeah, turn 11, very interesting corner, and if you run too far off, as we've just seen demonstrated by Ron, coming through the right-hander of turn 10, you will pick up an invalidation coming through the corner, and unfortunately Ron was on a good lap there, and now he should be coming back into the pit lane, and we'll probably watch his pit lane entry here, just to see. There is a car off circuit there. I'm not trying to see who that is. I think it's Maledictus, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Maledictus has spun, coming through turn number 12, otherwise he's just sitting waiting for the traffic to go by, which is probably not the best thing to do when you're on a racing circuit. Of course, this is not in the middle of Paris, of course. Maledictus coming into the pit lane, and he crossing the white line there is coming into the pit lane. You've got to stay, of course, within those solid white lines. The eye, of course, takes over when it comes into the pit lane, and then you're under automatic control. I was running a ball there with Izzer as well. Through the first sector, 21.8. He hasn't looked too bad. Medal though out on top, Cameron Dowd second, Dan Spreen in third.
I'd just like to mention Will Murdoch is on inters. He's coming back in, but I think he was just testing the waters for on the intermediates there.
I'll tell you what he's doing that for. Coming out on a set of inters indicates that he wants to try and keep a set of dry tyres for the race. That is why he's gone on a set of inters at this part in the session.
Very interesting. Well, and it's invalidated, unfortunately. Marlon coming around the much talked about turn 11, as we have indicated earlier. Now for turn 13, which is a long one as well. Oh, something happened there?
How was that valid? Coming out of turn 12, how was that valid for Marlon? He extended to the right, went all four tyres over the white line, and he's probably going to go quickest with this lap. Marlon to the line. Luckily, he doesn't go quick as he goes second, 29.4. But yeah, that should have been an invalid lap.
I can't disagree with you on that one. Then again, in the real world, they do allow that kind of stuff, especially Austria during the qualifying session, not the race. So, you know, there's a bit of a grey area in the real world. Cortez goes into P6. That is the bottom of the barrel so far, but do remember he is on medium tyres. But that could be a ploy, considering that the weather is predicted to be getting bad in the latter stages of the race, as I am about to go on board with Markados coming out the final corner. Just keeps it in check, and will get a 7th fastest, so the slowest time so far. Only 7 drivers on a lap, have set a lap. 10 minutes to go, a long way to go, I have to say.
I'm actually shocked in terms of how many drivers have not set a lap time yet. I mean, we've only got 7 cars who have set a lap so far. Rudy, I believe, has just started one, but he's got a this and next lap invalidation coming out of turns 1 and 2. So Rudy there is not on a lap. He's in the Haas, 21.7 that was, though, through the first sector. So inevitably going to be going quicker. We've got a comment coming through there, Roman Petiot, really bad pronunciation, I know. A rocker getting his support there, so a rocker there. He is in the Aston Martin. In P14 at the minute, hasn't set a lap time just yet, but it looks like drivers are testing the waters, certainly, on a set of soft compound tyres. Unfortunately, if you are still Will Murdoch, you are on another set of inters. So he clearly doesn't want to go onto that dry compound tyre yet, but it's Meadow out on top, Marlon second, Dan Spreen in third, and Dan Spreen, by the way, did improve on the lap, so third for the Ferrari, 29.6, as I think Maledictus is on a lap, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's just coming down towards turn 3 and then turn number 4. Menelo out on top, Marlon in second, Dan in third, and we will not get into any. We won't get drawn into any comments about what happened in PCF1 on this stream, as Maledictus comes through the first sector, 22.3, but he's invalid coming out of turn 6.
Yeah, of course, as we saw Didn't see it on the stream because the game crashing again. I was really sad when that happened. But you might have heard that Brendan Lee and Barry Burmand had a kerfuffle down the straight, and it pretty much ruined both of their races as the Dutch Missile serves his qualifying ban. Will Murdoch setting a time on Inters again. Well, actually, he didn't outlap last time. He's doing a proper lap this time. Now, unlike the dries and the rain, they actually do function alright, but they're definitely going to have zero grip compared to even the hard tyres, I'd have to say. You see, he is letting Nuff through. I imagine he's not taking this lap seriously. I mean, he can run as many laps as he wants. It's very unlikely you'll have to use the set during the race, because I do believe they give you new sets of inters for the race. Correct me if I'm wrong. I wouldn't imagine you'd use the same set of inters twice in different sessions. If you do see yellow flags, as a reminder, if you're new to this, just ignore them, because it's usually drivers being being obedient to the gentleman's agreements that we have in qualifying.
Yeah, Menno goes quickest, 28.9. I'm always on board with Matthew when he set that fastest lap. Menno the lad on top, 28.9. I'm on board with Matthew because, of course, he won last week in Monaco. And if he didn't catch the last stream, where were you? Where were you? Won by 30 seconds last week, Matthew. And now he's on through a lap coming in towards turn 10 and then in towards the right-hander of turn 11. Menno out on top, Marl on second, Dan Spreen in third. Many invalidations, though, in this session so far. I think a Rocker has picked up an invalidation. Maledictus the same as well. Is preparing up for an outlap. But Matthew coming through the left-hander of turn 12, then through the right-hander of 13, and then in towards the Lac section and Pond section of 14, and then through 15. And with 7 minutes gone, or 7 minutes ago, I should say, in this qualifying session, 9 lap times on the board. Menno out on top, Marl on second, Dan Spreen in third. Nuff, by the way, 131.4, set a soft compound tyre. Watch out for him. He's going to go, I think, considerably quicker later on in the session. But Menno's still out on top, and he's he's 5/10 clear of the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's ridiculous if you can see that, but 6.5 minutes to go. Only half the field has set a lap so far, including Will Murdoch on his intermediates, an incredible 1 minute 44.749. And I'm saying that's incredible because you never know, running in inters could actually be a big brain play, considering if you don't, you can choose whatever tire you want if you're not in the top 10. Well, he is in the top 10. With 6 minutes to go, I don't think it's going to last long. You can choose whatever tires you want. He's going to be starting at least 19th for sure. If you can start whatever tires you want, and those tires won't have any wear. So, I mean, I totally understand. Of course, he won't have any other tires used, and you probably have to use those as well. Because on some occasions you might use all your soft tyres and have to use one of them in the race if you're starting on mediums. So, and with the rain coming down, it might be the perfect strategy, James.
Could be indeed. I mean, half an hour into the race, you would expect in the inters probably to come, maybe lap 18, lap 19, maybe just before that, I think, half an hour through the race. Of course, if there is safety cars, that will probably exacerbate it a bit, but knowing this game, the rain tends to come earlier than the actual half an hour slot. Izza, by the way, is on a lap, 21.8 through the first sector. He's now coming through turn 6 and then through the left-hander of turn 7, and now down the Mistral straight as Menno was out on top, Marlon in second, Dan Spreen in third. Many drivers still yet to set a lap time. Either they're just not bothering or they're just picking up a load of invalidations on their laps as Izza comes in towards turn 8, then to the right-hander of turn 9, and this has looked quite good, I've got to say, from Izza, as he comes now out of turn 9, on the run up the hill, of course, in towards turn number 10, and he's on the limit, 49 flat in the middle sector. I think just a couple of tenths off Menno in that middle sector, but Izza is on a good lap, possibly aiming for second position so far in the session. Menno, though, out on top, Ball on second, Dan Spreen in third, as now Izza comes through the right-hander of turn 11, and then in toward the left-hander of turn number 12, and you've got to really open up the throttle on the exit of the corner. That's exactly what Izza does, not running too wide there, of course, and now we come through the right-hander of 13, in toward Lack at turn 14, and then in towards Pont at turn number 15. Menno, though, out on top, Marl on second, Dan Spreen in third, and now with 4 minutes to go in the session, Izza is about to set a lap time as we run now towards the line, and he's actually backed off his lap. So Izza has backed off his lap, clearly indicating he doesn't want to go in the top 10. He does that anyways, 30.8 on a set of soft compounded tyres. So if nobody else sets a lap behind him, I mean, Izza is going to be starting on a set of softs.
I don't think he'll be on the top 10 that long. All of the other drivers are going to be a little more cautious, but I don't think it'll be too cautious to fall behind Izzat. So, you know, it might just work out for Izzat. We know that. Oh, actually, Will is going on dry tyres. He's going to be going on the mediums. So I think he's just thought, you know what, screw it, let's just go on the mediums. You never know, it might work. Maris is on a lap right now. Denzo on a lap as well. Yeah, I was about to say around the 5-minute mark, you know, there's usually a lull in the action because he just finished their second lap, but they're all starting to pour out now. Maris and Denzo most notably.
Yeah.
Yes, so I think the reason why there's a lot of invalidations, by the way, is the curbs are really tough to see in some places, and they usually get caught out by it. So I think that might be the reason behind why we've only got 12 times set right now.
Yeah, definitely so. Maras, though, is on a lap, the OP man, on the up in towards turn number 10. 50 flat through the middle sector is not looking too bad at all. Menowad on top, though, Marlon in second, Dan Spreen in third. And if you are here for Yarno Opmir, and I can see quite a few of you being quite aggressive in the comment section, please leave the stream for your own benefit and for our own benefit, because we're trying to do a job here as Maras is coming through the left-hander of turn number 12, and we'll see what this lap time is going to be. I think you saw something, though, Logan?
No, I was just saying, if you're here for Yarno Opmir, then please leave. Alright, listen. Yarno's not here, alright, but you can stay. These guys could be racing Yarno in a couple years right now, so keep tabs on these. Like, people never keep tabs on Formula 4, and I'm guilty of that. And some of those drivers in Formula 1 came from Formula 3, well, I don't think Formula 4 was a thing back then, as I've just seen Maris completely go off the track after sitting his 9th placed lap. Yeah, but please, don't do the same, because look, people like Wilson Hughes came from F4, I think, and now he's in the top of the shop. It's a long road, but seriously, with a lot of commitment, you can get there. So please stay and watch the drivers of the future compete.
Yeah, definitely so. I'm just responding, by the way, to a few comments there in the comments. As Menno was out on top, Marlon in second, Dan Spreen in third. We have missed Rudy's lap, though. He is on a good lap here, actually, Rudy. On the run towards the line, and it's a 1:30.7. So he puts himself on the bubble. He's in there in 11th position. Nuff, though, is on a set of medium compounded tires. He's 7/10 down on that lap. DV19 and a Rocker also on laps. So the Rocker's on a set of mediums. Interesting, though, 4th downwards is basically on a set of mediums until you get to 11th, which is Rudy. A Rocker trying to go in that medium range, you would imagine, as a Rocker now comes through the right-hander of turn 13, and then through the left-hander of turn 14 at Lack, and then through the turn 15 complex at Pond. And with only a minute to go, less than a minute to go in the session, Menno out on top, Molon in second, Dan Spreen in third. Yellow flags, don't worry about them at all in the middle and the final sector as drivers are coming to the line, including a Rocker who's just gone 5th. Good lap time there by a Rocker. A second off the pace, but I think it's clear that, interestingly, most of the drivers are going for a set of mediums, and they're probably expecting the rain to come a little bit earlier on than expected.
Yeah, the weather's not totally accurate, as we see DV19 just sets the 9th fastest time in the session so far. Yeah, it could be raining, because, you know, of course, weather's never going to be accurate weather forecasts, but it might as well make a safe move and go on the mediums anyway. By the way, Denzo, Maris and Cameron Downs have called it a day in qualifying. They think they've done enough. Denzo, of course, and Maris will get to choose their tyres. But it looks like right now, Cameron Downs isn't. It's a long line ahead. Now, I don't think a couple of the drivers made it to the line in time. That's a real shame, because I think they look like they did. 5 drivers have come across the line. Izzat hasn't set a lap. Betasai, Ron Zeus, Tamala, Dictus hasn't set a lap. Will Zeus on a 144 is going to be in 16th. And he's much faster than last time, obviously, but, you know, in my opinion, I'd just abandon the lap. 16th, and, well, he's not going to be starting in Intas, of course. I mean, if he's starting a top 10, he probably have to. But, no, I think he'll be choosing the mediums on this occasion. If the weather goes his way, I think he might scrape through and get some solid points finish. Markadow's on a lap, though, on 13th place right now. I think he's going for the top 10 now. He's decided to scratch the strategy of starting in the bottom 10 on purpose. But yeah, I think some of the drivers crossed the line. before the checkered flag, but it didn't register.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe I think we saw that actually a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, here in PSGL F3 as well, where drivers obviously didn't set a lap time. I'm not sure if they were in the pit lane or not. Marlon, by the way, did improve his lap time. 29.1, he's now in second. Marquez, though, was on a good lap. He's probably more than a second up compared to his time. Is he going to, though, go in the top 10? I don't think he will. Doesn't even improve in the end, does Marquez, so had a really poor final sector, and that's why he's in 13th. Marlon is not on a lap. That, unfortunately, is probably one of the most underwhelming qualifying sessions I think I've ever seen here on PSGL.
Yeah.
But it's Meadow out on top, it's Marlon in second, it's Dan Spreen in third. And normally, when you would see, if there was rain coming earlier on in the race, you'd probably see a majority of the drivers on a set of softs. In the end, top 3 still on a set of softs. The rest of the field within the top 10 still on that set of mediums.
Do you know what? I don't blame them. If they think the rain is coming earlier than predicted, I think the mediums are the best bet. You don't need to use the hards. You just go on the mediums. Maybe if it comes even earlier, it will be bad for them, though. The softs could play the long game and then go into the pits, save himself 20 seconds of lost time in the pits. It would be really interesting.
It would be really interesting, but we can't take the lap away from Menno. 28.9, set of soft compound tyres, 2/10 quicker, just under that, than Marlon. Very good lap, and that's probably the widest Ferrari you'll probably ever see on a PSGL F3 stream here, on the PS of course. As we run you through the full grid order now, it's quite a mixed up grid order, I've got to say, but it is Menno out on top. Of course, I think he was on pole position last week as well, so twice in a row for Menno. Marlon there in second, from Dan Spreen in third, Nuff there in fourth, with Cameron Dowds in fifth, and Arocca in sixth, Joey in seventh, Matthew in eighth, DV19 in ninth, and Cortez ran off the top 10. And given that a majority of the top 10 run that set of mediums, less than a second separating is not too bad. Denzo in 11th, Maras in 12th. Watch out for him, because I think he'd be quite quick tonight. Marquez in 13th, Rudy there in 14th, Will Murdoch there in 15th, Izza in 16th, Ron in 17th, Batuksai, Maledictus and Dutch Missile. Of course, Dutch Missile retired in the pit lane. He didn't set a time in. Batuksai and Maledictus just purely didn't get a lap time in either, and I don't even think we saw them out on track. But Menno out on top, Marlon second, Dan Spreen in third. Cameron's dad, by the way, in the comment section saying, "Let's go, Cameron. Luck will be on our side tonight, surely." Well, there's normally a saying for third time lucky. Fourth time lucky?
Hey, you never know. But seriously, he has had probably more rotten luck than Mark Webber did when he was at Red Bull. So, sorry, Mark. I mean, my dad's a big fan of Mark Webber, so I don't think he'll be too pleased about that. But yes, let's just hope he can have Lady Luck on his side for once.
Hopefully so. Hopefully so. I mean, Cameron Dowds, I think, has qualified, if I'm not mistaken, within the top 10 as well. So he has got a good chance further down the field. And remember, coming into tonight, of course, Menno has to try and extend his championship lead. He has extended his championship lead for now, but the one thing, qualifying, next thing, the race. Two completely different things, and one that paces everything. We've now got to show your mettle within the race. And once again, it is blue skies and sunshine, but like we saw in PCF1, I should say, on Wednesday, I certainly was watching that stream as well, and the fact that it came over so cloudy but didn't rain gives us an indication of how cloudy it could get and how wet it could get, of course, going into the race. And normally, when it rains in France, it pours.
Indeed it does, and it's even trickier because the way the track is designed, especially the curbs, it's really hard to find where you're at in terms of track limits. By the way, the tyres, I should mention, everyone except Marquez in the bottom 10 is on the hard tyre. Oh, this will be one interesting first part of the race before it rains. I can't wait for the rain to come pouring down.
I can understand the strategy to somewhat, because I'm thinking, if I was a driver, Marquez is probably thinking, they're on a set of mediums in 13th. The rain is going to come sooner. And that's why he's gone for a set of mediums, because he can go halfway road, 13, 14 laps into the race, pit in from that sort of medium compound tyres, and then decide what to do with his strategy. Of course, that's if he doesn't get crashed out, if there's no safety cars or whatever. Everyone else on a set of hards, I'm immediately thinking the rain's going to be coming around lap 21, 22, so they will have a choice to make there, whether they go inters, whether it is, of course, going to be raining at that point in the race, or whether they go set of softs. Of course, the rain may not come at all. That's one of the deciding factors about this game.
Yeah, it's one of those crazy races where you don't know what's going to happen. Well, you know what's going to happen, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So you're going to have to be forced to gamble the outcome with your decisions. It is pretty much going to be an interesting race. The top three, just one tip: be conservative. If the rain comes earlier, you're in luck, but at this rate, it's going to be a steep hill to climb. Soft tires, they're not going to be lasting long. I'm just telling you right now, it is going to be one tough race for the front three. But you know what? You never know. The rain might come sooner, might come later. We'll just have to find out, James. Let's get ready to race here in Le Castellet.
Yeah, definitely so. Dutch Missile is going to be the final man to join at the back of the field, and of course he's starting on that set of hards after a qualifying ban, of course. Menel they're out on top, Marlon in second, Dan Spreen in third, all on the set of mediums, the rest in the top 10. On that set of on a set of soft compound size, the rest of the field in the top 10 on a set of mediums. Nearly got my words mixed the wrong way. You know what I meant. Menno, though, out on top, Marlon second, Dan Spreen in third, and we're about to go racing here in France for round 4 of the championship, the final race before the break week. Menno out on top, Marlon alongside him, and there's 5 red lights, and it is... Lights out away we go. Marlon reacts quicker to the start, and I think he could get Menno down in towards turn number 1. He pulls alongside, and now he'll go side by side down in towards turn 1. The Alfa Romeo on the Red Bull, who is going to blink first, and it looks like the Red Bull is ahead. Menno leads the way in through turns 1 and 2. Marlon there in second. Dan Spreen in third. Nothing's gained positions as well. There's a spinner in the background, but Tuxai, Rudy, and Maras I think have been caught up in an instant along with Izza. So all 4 of them are down at the back of the field, but Menno leads the way. Marlon in second. Dan Spreen in third. Everyone else on that set of softs going well. DV19 trying to force the move down the inside of Joey, and also Marcados fighting side by side with Matthew further down the field, and now they come out as turn 6, turn 7 down the Mistral straight, and Matthew waltzes around the outside of Marcados. Lovely move that by Matthew. He's doing his intro 11, but he has got a gap to try and close in with Denzo being 5 tenths in front of him. Denzo on the back of him, waiting behind on Cortez, and it's Menel that leads the way. Marlon in second, Dan Spreen in third, and initially from the getaway, Marlon was so much quicker than Menno. But, second phase of the start, and down in towards turn 1, Menno has the lead.
Yes, Menno has the lead. The top 4 remain the same as they were at the start. Matthew has lost 3 places already. It's not been the best start for him. Maldix and Dutch Missile gaining 4 places after the first corner kerfuffle between Rudy, Betsai, and I think Izzat and Maris as well. You know, I think Betsai got caught out in that battle. Nothing he could do, and is stuck at the back. I don't see much damage on the cars, but that's probably because the game doesn't really show it that much. And I don't think it looks like anyone's going to pit. Izzat's going to pitch. Pit, not pitch. We're not sales pitching, please. We're racing. I get my words mixed up all the time, but it looks like the top 4 have a bit of a gap, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, but you know, it's only lap 2, long way to go.
Yeah, Marlon just running out wide there in the dirty air, coming through turn 3 and 4, and now he's under pressure from Dan Spreen and behind, because Dan had so much better turn 3 and 4. He now runs wide, does Marlon, and he's struggling in that dirty air to try and capitalise on Menno, who's pulling away 6 tenths in front of him. So Menno leading the way, Marlon there in second, Dan Spreen in third. Further down the field, I think Denzo was going to look for a move on Cortez. Look at the speed that Denzo is carrying. Is he just going to win behind on the Mercedes, or is he going to pull alongside? He thinks about doing the latter, and down the inside line he goes, tries to get the move done. Cortez there in 9th, Denzel there in 10th position, and as Darkside has just put in the comment section, yeah, very interesting tyre choices indeed, and that is because the threat of rain is coming. Matthew and Marcados look like they're going to go side by side, not in towards turn 10, but maybe in towards turn 11 they will, as he is on the back, Marcados, of Matthew, but he is not going to get the move done. And in fact, the front 4 beginning to pull away. Nothing's now latched onto the back of the top 3. He's pulling away from Arocca. Arocca in these series of corners is catching back up, but Nuth looks considerably quicker compared to the soft runners ahead.
Yeah, he does. It's like he's running on soft anyways, just disguised as mediums. And I mean, yeah, you can choose the wrong compound by accident, because they have probably different colours, but probably the same grip. because that is a thing. Because, of course, you know, the way they choose the tyres. But yes, Nuff doing very well, DRS enabled as we enter lap 3. But Dental has been putting in some brave moves on the hard tyres. The less grippier, but more tyre life in them. He's making some moves. I think he's very impressed by Dental right now. But, of course, can he keep this up? Oh, what happened?
Marlon got caught on the curb coming through turn 5. He nearly went for a half spin. Good recovery by Marlon, but he is struggling on that setup. He could catch Menno down in towards the chicane north at turns 8 and 9. I don't think he's going to be close enough though, and that just unsettled the car. Of course, he's pulling away now from Dan Spreen, who's there in third, but Marlon, just a slight moment there from him, but stays in second. Crucially, stays in within the race as well.
I'm on board with DV19. He's about 3 tenths behind Joey, but he's gotten behind in the wrong place. That straight does not have a DRS zone. But you never know, you could try and move up in turn 11. People have done it before, but not DV19, not on this occasion. He decides to stay behind Joey for now. In front of him is Cameron Dowds, looking for some good fortune for once. But yes, the top 3 still maintaining their positions as they were. Nuff right on their tail though, and he will have the DRS, but he won't have much speed because of course he's got less grip on those tyres than Dan Spreen does. Now let's see what will happen. Dan Spreen will also have the DRS, but Marlon's right behind Menno. Well, I was saying that, but he's not going to get anywhere near him at the first corner. Is there anything going on behind? It doesn't look like it. They're all going to stand pat for the meantime, James.
Batuxai going side by side with Rudy down the inside line. Goes Batuxai, gets the job done. He's into 17th. Very good indeed. Rudy there in 18th. And Charlie, by the way, in the comment section, saying rain in 15 minutes. Interesting. So rain in 15 minutes puts us at around about the halfway stage, I think. So Menno out on top, Molon in second, Dan Spreen there in third. And, as Darkside has put it quite rightly, I think, in the comment section, mediums probably better than a set of hards when it comes to wet compound racing. Obviously, is it going to rain? Will it rain? Probably yes. But what tyres are we going to be on before the end of the race? Menno out on top, Marlon in second, Dan Spreen in third. Charlie, by the way, said it is by Jeff though, so may not be accurate. Don't worry, we're B-Tech versions of Jeff here in the commentary box, so don't trust us in terms of the strategies. Trust Jeff himself. Menno out on top, Marlon in second, Dan Spreen in third. Through lap 4, and nothing's really happened apart from that move with Batuxai.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's because they're trying to conserve their tyre life just in case it does rain at any moment. The softs pretty much have to rely on there being a safety car, and by the looks of it, it's not happening right now because everyone playing it safe. I don't blame them. Of course, it's all hell's probably going to break loose when the rain comes tumbling down, if it does. I mean, we saw last season in Belgium and PCF1, as we see a move by Nuff.
Nuff side by side with Dan Spreen, down and towards someone. Can he get the job done? Yes, he can. Nuff is through and he's into P3, and that was actually quite opportunistic because twice we've seen him on the back of Dan Spreen, not going for the move. That time, he realised that. He used up his deployment to good effect, used up that DRS, he's through and he's into P3. Now another bit of clear air. Now he can put his foot down.
Yes, he can. And I can actually mention that in the last lap, Nuff was 4 tenths faster than Dan Spreen. Have just ticked the race director. So I think it's come to the point where the mediums are better than the softs on this occasion. And Nuff is now chasing down Marlon, but Marlon's going for Menno here, but no, he cannot get any closer before he runs out of runway. That's a weird section, you know, the chicane section. They're not really clearly marked out except by that white line. I wish they changed that for the next season. But anyway, Oroka right on the rear of Dan Spreen, but nothing gained there for Oroka. He's going to have to, right on his tail at turn 11. So is Marlon and Menno, and sparks coming out of Dan Spreen's car. Of course, the floor grinding the tarmac at massive speeds. It's like a fireworks display, but 5th of November was a while back, so
Wow! Menno's into the pit lane from the race lead. I was not expecting that. I was expecting Dan to come into the pit lane. And Dan, in fact, has picked up a 3-second penalty coming out the final corner, but Menno into the pit lane, set of medium compounded tyres goes on. Rain is in 15 minutes. I think that's not a bad call at all from Menno. He realises that the rain's going to come. He realises he's going to be at a disadvantage on that set of softs. Come into the pit lane early. May as well. Think DV19 has gone round coming through the first couple of corners. He has. DV19 is round coming through turn 2. Dan has just been overtaken as well by Cameron Dowd. So the Ferraris interchange positions. I think there was a let through there. Cameron now through and he's into fourth. Yeah. Dan Spring's tyres, he's gone too hard too early on that set of softs. They're absolutely shot. Nuth, by the way, is on the back of Marlon. Is he going to get the move done down in the Mistral straight down in towards turn number 8? I don't think so. Joey, though, might on Dan Spreen. Look at the speed that Joey is carrying down the inside line. And that is late on the brakes. And that is simply wonderful from Joey. He's through and he's into 5th. Lovely stuff on the back of Dan Spreen. And if I was Dan Spreen, I'd be making hay to come into the pit lane here.
Yeah, it's Dan Spreen really struggling now ever since he was overtaken by Nuff. It is starting to fall apart. Menno has joined back in second to last.
Oh, look at Cortez! Cortez down the inside line! If you see an opportunistic like that, that is just absolutely unbelievable. Cortez, and look at Denzo as well, going around the outside of turn 12 on a set of hards. Lovely stuff. Brilliant move that. Cortez, he had no right to go down the inside line. The gap was there. He forced the issue. Dan is still staying out. Cortez... as Matthew forces the move as well on Dan, it's getting quite hectic with Dan still being out on track on that set of soft. Cortez, though, that is overtake of the season, hands down. That was absolutely unbelievable.
Absolutely fantastic from Cortez. It's like a game of hungry hippos out there. Dan Spreen getting What? Dan Spreen is getting eaten up by all the hippos. I mean, the cars. It's just, okay, hungry F1 cars, there you go. But yeah, Dan Spreen needs to come in the pit soon. Marlon has just pit, and he has come out behind Menno, so it looks like the undercut, well, it wasn't really much of an undercut, he was ahead. Menno has come out ahead of Marlon, so it looks like it's worked. But I see some clouds gathering amongst the haze, James. It's going to get a little bit close to the inevitable, as Will Murdoch battling with Dan Spreen right now on the hard tyres. And he does his job well. My goodness me!
How's he recovered that?
Lucky to avoid a catastrophic collision with Dan Spreen, and Dan Spreen just being overtaken by Maledictus as well. The Dutch Nitsile is next, and Dan Spreen has to yield and let him through. He's absolutely struggling. He knew at the start this wasn't working. And he's got to come in surely now, James.
Those tyres, look at the front. They're completely blistered, and now he comes into the pit lane, and he is into the pit lane, correctly doing so, of course, gets the car stopped at around 33 mile an hour coming into the pit lane, and Dan Spreen is into the pit. He should have pitted 2 laps ago, though, so I think he's being dumbfounded, I think, by this strategy. Menno, by the way, is coming through the final couple of corners, so you can see how much Dan has lost in terms of this battle. He was a second off Menno at one stage, and now he's going to be, I'm not even joking here, he could be about 10 seconds behind as Menno sets the fastest lap of the race. Dan Spreen onto a set of softs, clearly think that the rain's going to come. Maras, I think, spun in sector 3, and that is why he came into the pit lane to retire the car. Dan Spreen, though, 18th position, coming out, and look at how far he's behind Menno. 10 seconds behind Menno, 8 seconds behind Marlon. And Dan Spreen has just, well, he has to go onto a set of softs to try and recuperate his losses.
But interestingly enough, Dan Spreen has went out on another set of softs. Oh my goodness me, the clouds are gathering even more. I think we might be heading into wet weather conditions, James. It is looking all doom and gloom as Amaris is coming back out on the track. Please, game, stop doing that. This is a perfect situation for enough. This is not looking good for the hard runners, I've got to say, because I know Denzo's getting close to the top 5. We're all on mediums. There's a bit of a battle going on there between
DV19.
DV19 and Betisai. The gap, a quarter of a second. DV19 has a penalty for overshooting the track limits, and he's right on Betisai's tail. Remember, they are on the same age of tyre, and oh my goodness, it's getting even darker. Is that rain I see? No, it's not.
No.
It's just my optical illusions playing with me. But Rudy now going to go for the move on DV19 with the medium tyres. and he gets through it like it was plain sailing and into 13th now. Betisai stuck in a Haas sandwich as Marlon sets the fastest lap, but if he is to get a point, he'll have to finish in the top 10, as you know. Is that stuck 6.6 seconds behind Dan Spreen? Dan Spreen doesn't seem to be gaining much from these new soft tyres, and in fact, the clouds gather even more, and we're now just anticipating when the first spots of rain fall.
Rain will come, I think, lap 11 or 12. Guaranteed, because if the clouds have begun to build over the last 5 minutes or so, you're going to be around 5 minutes away from rain. 5 minutes time will get you on to around lap 12. I think it's going to be around then, to be honest. But you can still see the sun's still glaring through the clouds. Nothing in the way. Aroka second, Cameron Dowden third. The rain looks like it's coming earlier than everyone anticipated, especially those on a set of hards who were thinking it was going to be probably around lap 20, 21, and they can probably get away with going onto a set of soft compounded tyres. Not there leading the way. Aroka there in second, Cameron Dowden third, Joey there in fourth. Everyone on the set of mediums are on the right call at the minute, but with the clouds obviously looming over the circuit, it is ominous signs that rain is probably going to be coming, unless it's like PCF1 and it comes over very dark and then it gets sunny on the final lap of the race.
Yeah, that has been the case in some races before, but hey, you never know. It could happen here tonight, as Betisai can't seem to get anywhere near DV19 after the move made by DV19 on the previous lap. The visibility is getting worse, I have to say, up there. It feels like it's a ghost town out there, in all honesty. I can barely see the grandstands as Dan Spreen sets the fastest lap of the race so far. And Meshew is going to be challenged by Markados, but no, he's not going to be close enough. He is the closest to pretty much anyone on this track right now, except Oroka, who is 4 tenths behind Nuff now. He's catching up. But of course, he needs that DRS when he gets out of the final corner. He might be given a window of opportunity to make a move on Nuff, as I don't see many more battles. I should mention Cameron Dowd has just joined the battle of the top 2 there, make it a top 3. And there's an incident in Sector 2. Marlon. I do believe that as Marlon, his day is just not getting any better. He went on the wrong tyre, presumably. And then he has to go all the way to the back, and now he spins. It's just adding to his misfortune.
Yeah, he was catching Menno before that mistake. He was 1.7 seconds behind him. He got caught on the curb, took it too greedy, I think, on the inside curb, and that is why he spun. That's why he's now 8.5 seconds off the back of Menno, and they were fighting for that 1 and 2 as the rain has started. On lap 11, you can call me Mystic James. Not out on top. Aroka in second, Cameron Dowd in third. The rain has started to fall. How heavy is it going to be, though? If it's light, as it is now, it won't impact the track for a good couple of laps, but if the rain starts falling heavier, which I think it will, I think it's probably going to be around, maybe next lap we could be seeing drivers coming in for a set of inters, as now Aroka is bearing down on Nuff, and he closes in rapidly, the Frenchman, but he doesn't get the move done. He actually forces nothing for a mistake, and now Aroka, can he try and get the run out of turn 9? Not quite, but on the run up towards turn 10, looking at the deployment, he has to try and use this up. Aroka, if he wants P1 going into the pit lane, he has to try and get this move done now. And look at him closing up in the draft now in towards turn 11. Can he get the job done? The Aston Martin again looks to the inside line. He's been too cautious, I think, to try and go for the move, which might be right in the conditions, but when you've got pit stops in hand, you've got to try and make the move. Nothing in the way. Aroka in second, Cameron Dowd in third, and now with the rain falling, normally, when you see spots of rain falling in the middle of the tarmac, it will probably mean that inters are probably conditions. At the minute, probably not so. I think it's next lap as Denzel is in, Will Murdoch is in, and they're probably going in for a set of inters as Will Murdoch has picked up a 5-second penalty.
Yeah, he's spared in the pit lane. That is not what he wanted, and he's probably not going to get that removed in the pits because, of course, he won't serve it as early into the pits. He's on the inters already. So is Denzo, of course. Why would you change to dry tyres in this situation? But yes, Denzo. They did show up in first for a brief second, but that is because this pit lane is very unorthodox. Dan Spreen has passed Marlon. Marlon trying to get back at him now, but Actually, no, it was the other way round, I think, was it? No, Dan Spreen had the DRS by the looks of it. So I think he might have been behind. Oh, the rain's starting to gather on the circuit now, so this is very interesting. As the Rocker tried another move on enough, but he was not close enough. It's a long train now. It looks like 7, 8, maybe 9 cars involved. Like 8 cars, I should say, within 1 second of each other. And Cortez has Matthew right behind him as the rain gets heavier and heavier and heavier. The cars get closer and closer. Surely they've got to pit this lap, James.
This lap for sure. And Messi is going to launch one on Cortez, and Cortez is just forcing into a slight mistake, slightly. Nuth as well, struggling with his mediums. Surely they've all got to come into the pit lane. Nuth is in, a Rocker is in, Cameron Dowd is coming in, Joey is in, Cortez is in, and do you know what? They're all coming in. Messi was actually going to be held up in the pit lane here. He's going to force a double stack with the Mercedes, so that is why now Cortez and Messi coming into the pit lane. Is this going to be like, oh, still glaring through the clouds? I think it means it's going to dry out later on in the race. Everyone now into the pit lane, including Menno, who is back into the pit. And that now means, because Menno is back into the pit lane, Nuth is going to be the race leader. Nuth comes out the pit lane in P1, just about. I thought he was in P2 for a minute. DRS disabled, perfect pit stops by everyone. Nuth now leads the French Grand Prix. And that's all because Menno, it's Cortez nearly lost it coming out the pit lane. Goodness me, nearly lost it coming out the pits. But those that went for an undercut, Denzel, Will Murdoch, look what they've come out in. 7th and 9th position. Will Murdoch, I know for certain, is very good on his inters. I know Denzel was quite good on his inters as well. This now is anybody's game.
It is. I'd just like to mention, this track looks like an ice rink when it's wet, in all honesty. Look at it. It's all light and white and everything. It's just like an ice rink. I mean, it is the Winter Olympics, but that's in China, not France. Why would it snow in the south of France? But yes, as you can see, Cameron Dowd's going for a move on a Rocker with DRS disabled. It's pretty much raw skill at this point if you want to make the move. And with dirty air added on, it's pretty much who can fare better in the wet. Cameron Dowds has a Rocker right in front of him, and a Rocker doing very well to defend position. And he goes wide, a Rocker does. Oh no, he's not going to go for the move, is he?
Easy.
Cameron, stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Oh, they're side by side!
Beautiful.
They're side by side! He's done it! Unbelievable!
And I think
Cameron Dowds has just got into second place by complete raw skill. I am gobsmacked, James.
Remember what happened in Portimao, though? He pulled away from the rest of the field, and that was on a set of inters. And remember what happened then? It rained, he was on a set of inters, he did the business, now he's a second off the lead. Cameron Dowds' retribution could be coming right, I think, tonight. Nuth leading the way, Cameron Dowds in second, a Rocker there in third. Top 5, by the way, is still in a technical DRS train, if you could call it that. Marquinhos is going into clear air, though. He's 1.5 seconds behind, and it really comes to show now who is better on these set of inters. Is it going to dry up? Because I think still it could dry up towards the end of the race. I'm not sure if we can get confirmation from Charlie in the comment section about that, but I think I'm under the impression certainly that it might dry up before the end. Nuth leading the way. Cameron Dowds has just gained 0.4 of a second, by the way, into the first sector alone, and now he is going to try and pressurise Nuth. Speaking of pressurise, Cortez on the back of Joey running down the Mistral straight in towards Le Chicane Nord, and Cortez stays in behind Joey for now, 4th and 5th position. But close-knit fighting like this is going to let Marquinhos, Denzo, Ron, Will Murdoch, Metzi all into play as well. And somebody in the comment section also mentioned, which I think is correct, Will Murdoch did lose a position to Ron out of the pit lane, so actually the undercut strategy didn't really work in the end.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it did, but I'm on board with Joey right now. He's right behind Oroka, but he doesn't seem to be gaining any ground whatsoever. Cameron Dowds now half a second behind Nuff. He's quickly picking up the pace after that incredible move on Oroka in the previous lap. he might do what he did in Portimao. Well, probably, considering that he was disqualified for glitching. Menno and Betisai doing battle. Menno, it's just not been going well for him.
Marlon down the inside of Dan Spreen as well. This is coming through the turn 11, nice. The double right-hander, and that is a lovely move from Marlon in the end. The inside line was forced. Marlon through and he's into 17, trying to recover that progress, of course, from what happened earlier on in the race. Cameron Dowd is looking so much quicker than Nuff, though, for the lead of the race. He's coming down through turn 3 and 4, and Cameron Dowd, he was 9/10 of a second off the back of Nuff when he made that overtake on a rocker. He's pulled now a second clear of a rocker, and now he's only 3/10 away from the race lead. And Cameron Dowd, what I would be under the impression, if he was to go for the move now, probably go for it now and then pull away, or do you wait behind on the back of Nuff and force him into a mistake? Cameron Dowd is not going to come from a mile back down in towards the chicane node, and he waits there in second position. But we've seen it before. Nuff got forced into a mistake into the chicane, ran out wide, nearly lost the position to Rocker. If Cameron Dowd can follow that through, and he's trying to weave down the straight to try and break that toe, Cameron Dowd is probably going to get the move done in towards turn 11 here. The Ferrari is so much quicker than the Williams. He's going to look to the inside line. Nuff forced out wide. Cameron Dowd is not going to go for this, is he? Down the inside line, and patience is a virtue, my friend. Wait.
My goodness, I thought that was the end of Cameron Dowd's race there, but somehow managed just to hold on. But he's got to tread carefully if he's going to go for a move anytime soon. 4 attempts to gap now after that brief kerfuffle, but Cameron Dowd, what's the speed me like out of this final corner? It's alright, he's losing time. Nuff extends it to half a second. It's going very well for Nuff right now as they enter the first corner once again. But yeah, they broke away from Baraka. He's 1.17 seconds behind. And Joey and Cortez right behind him. Doesn't seem to be many other battles as of late. Dan Spreen is at Menno. They just haven't had it their way tonight. If only they didn't start on soft, it could have been a whole different story.
Tactics is trying to follow my ploy by saying the track is going to dry towards the end. If the rain's due to get worse before it gets better, normally that means it's going to be into towards the end of the race. So we'll have to wait and see. We can only commentate on what we've got in front of us. We're not weather experts. We're not going to be in Storm Dudley and Storm Eunice, which is going to be coming in midweek. Nuff, though, is under pressure from Cameron Dowd. Did you know what? I think Cameron Dowd is going to go for the move here. He's going to be close enough in that slipstream. Look at that speed from Cameron Dowd down the inside line through turn 10 and now into the double right of turn 11. Cameron Dowd has just took the lead from Nuff like taking candy from a baby, and that was easy as you like. Cameron Dowd is through and he's into the lead of the race. Now that he's in the lead of the race, and hopefully for his sake he's not going to get disqualified from another race, Cameron Dowd now leads. Let's see what he really is all about.
The young gun coming out firing the big shots tonight. He is now clear enough, half a second ahead, and Nuff has a big mountain to climb. Can Cameron Dowd finally get his win that he probably thinks he deserves? And you know what? I wouldn't blame him. He's just had the worst luck all season. Keep talking about it all the time, and there's a bit of a battling going on between who, James?
Joey was on the back of a rocker down and towards turn, well, not quite close enough. But Cameron Dowd, that's what I was actually overing about. He's using up a lot of energy. Normally when you're in inters, you normally save up a lot of energy. So Cameron is now trying to do what nobody else is doing. I mean, look at the gap. He's now pulled 1.1 seconds, so it comes to show what I'm on about. Cameron Dowd leads the way. 1.2 seconds clear nearly of Nuth. Nuth now has got to be just quicker than a rocker to get second, I think. Joey on the back of a rocker is getting close down and towards Mistral straight and down and towards the chicane node. He's not going to be quite close enough, but Cameron Dowd, I'm fearful later in the race, if he's going to use up more DRS and ERS, or certainly ERS than DRS because it's obviously wet, ERS, 1.3 seconds the gap, he's going to be saving up a lot more if he doesn't really use it. So obviously he's in the lead of the race, use up the ERS to try and get away and try and get out of that slipstream range, and he's probably done that now, so he may as well just sit back because I think he looks considerably quicker than Nuff even without that aid of ERS.
Yes, he does. Just extending that gap further. He's only got 14% in the tank. I think Maledictus and Will Murdoch are saving their energy well. They've got about 50% in the tank. So is Menno. But yeah, the last thing you want to do is use up all your energy before the end of the race, because of course you might need that if you're being challenged. But Cameron Dowd isn't concerned about it yet. Nuff has around triple as much energy that Cameron Dowd has right now, as I do believe Cortez is getting close to Joey. Of course, the energy probably will make a difference at the end of the race, especially. But yes, Ronzus now on the back of Denzo as well, and he has 35%. Denzo doesn't have that much. He's probably only got half of what Ronzus has right now. As they make their way into the back straight once again, is there going to be any moves, James?
No. One word answer. No, I don't think they will, because everyone's just not close enough to try and force any moves. If they want to try and force a move, they've got to force the driver ahead or behind into a mistake, and that's where you will pick up the positions, because if you don't pick up the positions, you're not going to be getting anywhere. Marcos, by the way, it was quite interesting, because he backed off slightly from the back of the Cortez battle. He's now 1.2 seconds behind, hasn't got the straight line speed. Through the corners, he's excellent, and now he's beginning to close up on the back of Cortez. It was, as I say, 1.7 seconds, and that gap was stagnant for, I would say, 3 or 4 laps. And now Marcador's there in 6th position, beginning to put his foot down. He's another one that is normally good in inters, and he's another one, of course, that is returning thing, because he missed last week, if I'm not mistaken, to Marcador's. He's there in 6th, of course, in the AlphaTauri, which, of course, if you haven't seen, has already had a facelift for next season. White and blue, you could call it, possibly. So basically, the primary and the secondary colours have just changed around. Marcador's there in 6th, Denzel there in 7th, still 1.2 seconds, but with Cortez running in the slipstream of Joey, you can see the time that Marcador's loses down in towards turn 1. There is going to be a battle, though. Menno on the back of Batuxai. Goodness me, it's like near the IndyCar coming through the final corner. Menno is on the back of Batuxai. The championship leader is scoring no points at this stage, by the way. Joey, by the way, is 4th, so Joey will retake the championship lead off Menno going into break week, and Batuxai is under significant pressure from Menno, and Menno, if he doesn't get this move done, honestly, he should try and force the issue now, down in towards turn 3, and that is the Menno like we like to see, down the inside line, should get the job done. As soon as I say that, he doesn't get the job done, and he's still fighting with Batuxai, coming into turn 5, and Batuxai forced out wide, and Menno, that's nice driving that, because Menno wasn't any contact, but Batuxai ran out wide. That's where you forced the driver into a mistake. Menno Thunes into 14th, and because the way he was just off to the left-hand side, basically of the track, Batuxai couldn't rejoin, so he has to go behind him.
Cortez right behind Joey right now as the rain continues to heave down here in the south of France. And is Cortez going to do what he did earlier? No, he doesn't look like it. But Will Murdoch also on the back of Ronzus is on the back of Denzo.
Oh, goodness me!
Oh, what's happened there?
Will Murdoch is having a right time with the Alpine. Goodness me! It's squirreling out of turn 11. How on earth? And that was his coursing experience, I think, coming into play there. Because if it was anybody else, he would have lost that car. He kept that car going, full throttle, touches the back of Ron slightly. But Will Murdoch, it takes skill to drive like that. And skill is what you needed there to try and recover the car. And he's in 9th position. Meti there in 10th. No moves happening down in towards turn 1 apart from Cortez, who is under pressure from Joey, and Marcos has just picked up a penalty.
Yeah, Marcos picking up a penalty. Not what you want at this late stage of the race. 8 laps to go. It doesn't show any signs of drying up at all. So I think we'll be here till the end of the race with these intermediate tyres. But yeah, Joey getting hounded with Cortez all over his wing mirrors. They might make a move here, but looks like he's built a gap on Cortez. Yet he has half a second. Joey running clear of Cortez for once, as Cortez using up his energy, but he can't get anywhere near. And Cameron Dowds, by the way, has extended his gap to 2.4 seconds, and you're laughing like you're going to dominate the world. Why is that?
Because Cameron Dowds is out in front by 2.5 seconds, and he's quite simply quicker enough. It's as simple as that, and Cameron Dowds, I think, has now put a bit of domination on the race. He's still using up his ERS, but that ERS is enough for him to get away. DV19, by the way, side by side with Dutch Missile, and he coming up in towards turn 10 as the rain has got considerably heavier, coming up the hill in towards turn 10, now through turn 11, and DV19, that is the switchback of the century right there. That is an absolute world-class move by DV19. Thunes into P12. If you watch that back on stream, you'll probably get to it around now. DB19 has just done the switchback of the century. Dutch Missile forced into a mistake. He's going off wide. He's picked up a 3-second penalty. And DB19 through. And he's into P12. And I thought a move earlier on in the race was overtake of the season. That might just have well topped it.
We'll probably have to do an audience poll on that one, see what they thought about it. We'll have to do kind of like what they do in Driver of the Day, but you know. But yes, Will Murdoch still behind Ron Zeus, who's still behind Denzo. Doesn't show signs of changing unless someone is forced into a mistake. There's a little bit of a train that's starting to drift apart, you know, social distancing. Of course, not in effect because this is a race. Oh, it is getting heavier. If it gets any heavier, they might have to switch to the wets at the last minute. I don't think they will, though.
Yeah, I mean, the rain is falling quite heavy, and normally, when you see sheets of rain going across the track, especially down the Mistral Straight, I can certainly see it vaguely. Sheets of rain beginning to pound the circuit basically from left to right, and that's normally the indication of heavy rain, normally the indication that the track is getting wetter, and will puddles form before the end of the race. I think, if these drivers were smart, they'd probably stay out on a set of inters here. Oh, it's actually Joey forces it down the inside on of a rocker. That opportunistic again, and can the Alpine go all the way around the outside of the Aston Martin? Surely not through turn number 12. He's got the traction. There are puddles forming, by the way, on the track. Joey is still side by side with a rocker. Coming through 13 and 14. He's into the pit lane, I think. Joey is into the pits. This is going to be for full wets, I think. This is a good strategy call. In fact, drivers are coming in. Denzel, Ron coming into the pit lane. Will Murdoch is in. They certainly think it's wet. Do you guys at home think it's wet? That's the problem, because these guys certainly think, the drivers, we have to trust them, they're going on for full set wet compound tyres, and with puddles forming out on track, the deluge has begun here in France. Alpines, by the way, double stack. A majority of the field halfway down are going in for full wet, so this could be quite changeable. Cameron Dowd's lead, nothing second and Rocker in third, but if you were in the top 8, what would you do?
I cannot imagine what's going through their heads right now, James. How the turntable, 6 drivers come out on wet. Actually, I think it'll be 9 once everyone has come out of the pits. 8 drivers on wet tyres. Oh, I'd just like to mention, even though he's out of the race, Maras got, says his Fanatec wheel stopped working. Ouch.
Oh, no.
Nightmare.
There's been so many problems like that as well.
Yeah, there has been. It's not just Fanatec, or it's Logitech and Thrustmaster, and they can happen to everyone. It's just unfortunate. But now Cameron has a 3-second gap. But how is Joey doing? I'm just going to check Race Director now and see if he is actually faster than Cameron.
I'm looking at the gap. It's 3.1 seconds. Gap is coming down in the middle sector. Through the first sector, he was pretty much level with Menno. And it's only now that he's getting going and he's got the speed up, as Joey actually just picked up a 3-second penalty. Cameron Dowd is in from the lead of the race. Cameron Dowd is in. Nuff stays out. Arocca stays out. Cortez stays out. Marcados, Metsu, Maledictus all stay out. Menno's the only one out there in the top 8 now on a set of inters. Cameron Dowd is in for full wet compound tyre, and I think he's just lost the race.
I think he pitted. I think he might. I'm not sure if he pitted too early or too late. I'm not sure what would have happened if Joey caught up. He might actually come out in front of Joey. Now I
miles ahead.
Yeah, he is well ahead. I think he pit at the right time. Joey probably had the worst possible conditions you could, and I think it's helped Cameron Dowd out a bit, but in terms of the race in front of him, I don't think so. The gap between Maledictus and Cameron Dowd is 12 seconds.
I tell you what, though, Cameron Dowd is catching. He's just gained 6-7 tenths alone in the first sector. Course of the lap, you're going to be gaining 3 seconds, possibly a lap. As I think there was lightning there, if I'm not mistaken. Did you see that light flash coming through turn 7? I certainly did. I thought there was lightning there, just in the circuit. It's certainly storm conditions. Metsu and Marcados, by the way, going side by side up the hill, in towards turn 10. And Metsu waltzes past Marcados, so he's into 4th. Nuff leads the way. Arocca in 2nd. Cortez in 3rd. Cameron Dowd's 11.2 seconds off the back. Unless those guys stay out, which I think they have to now, Cameron Dowd It's an inspired choice. Can he gain, though, 11 seconds on the back of Maledictus alone? And can he gain, what, 15, 16 seconds to the race leader? In, what, 4 laps? Oh, it's going to be tight.
It is. I'm not sure if I did see lightning there, or it's just outside your window.
No, this was on the game.
Oh my goodness, I've never seen lightning in the game. Was it like a lightning bolt, or is it just a flash? Because I've like never seen that in the game in like 20 years, I have to say.
It was a solid white flash. Oh, and Cortez is going side by side with a Rocker now, down in towards turn number 3. And the Rocker made a mistake, and now Cortez on the inside line, in towards turn 3, and then towards the chicane of 4. And they make contact! No! Cortez and a Rocker make contact. Cortez didn't leave a Rocker much room there on the inside. That's why now there's contact, and that is why now Cortez is down into 6th position. I think it's all full of his own. Joey, by the way, is going side by side with Menno. Wets against Inters, and it's the Wets that come out on top. So Joey clearly quicker than Menno. Cameron Dowds, by the way, that gap for Maledictus was 12 seconds. It's now around 8 seconds, and because of that contact with Cortez and a Rocker, it just gives Cameron Dowds' job a little bit easier, I think.
I'm not sure if he'll catch them in time, but you never know. The conditions could change even further, and they could get even more wetter.
Cameron Dowds might win this. I'm saying it now. Cameron Dowds might win this. He's gained another 1.7 seconds as Marcadors is round, coming through turn number 10. And Marcadors has sunken into the map, I think. I can't see him. There he is. There's the AlphaTauri coming out in 6th. And now drivers are starting to struggle on their inters. Cameron Dowds' decision now is not too bad at all. 4.5 seconds the gap over Cortez. He's got 3 laps to do it. They're going at snail's pace in front of him. Cameron Dowds significantly quicker than everyone else, possibly around 10 seconds a lap quicker at this stage. Cameron Dowds, can he do the impossible with 3 laps to go?
Well, we'll have to find out. He's just about to cross the line to start the first of his final 3 laps. And oh my gosh, the weather... It's like what it was in Belgium. There's a lot of action happening by DB19. He's going to try going inside of 2 drivers here. And he's forced Marlon wide, and he's through. And Marlon gets a penalty. That might be appealed against by the sounds of it. And Will Murdoch's got through as well. That has not worked well in Marlon's favour. As the gap between Cortez and Cameron Dowds there is 2 seconds.
This is thrilling.
Them. They're going at a snail's pace, the top 4, as the 2 Hasses switch positions. I think that was a battle, yes. Rudy is struggling.
I tell you what, Logan, a Rocker is going to be in a fight here with Maledictus. Cortez is going to be involved in this battle as well. And now Cameron Dowds, all of a sudden, is looking at least on for podium here. Because he's now 8 seconds off the front of the lead. That is enough. 7 seconds he can gain very easily. As long as he gets past these 3 drivers, he should be on for the win here. Nuth leading the way, Metsu in 2nd, a Rocker in 3rd, and with 2.5 laps to go, Cameron Dowds forces the inside on Cortez in towards the right hander of 11. That is simply insane from Cameron Dowds. And now he's going to repeat the same feat on Maledictus in towards turn 12. This guy's an overtaking machine out on track. Cameron Dowds fighting the car, now in towards Lack at turn 14. Cameron Dowds has got the move done as the Rockers forced out wide, and Cameron Dowds is soon he's into 3rd. 6.6 seconds to gain in 2 laps time. He's got to gain 3 seconds a lap. Cameron Dowds is on for the race win here. 2 laps to go. Nuth leading the way. Metsu in 2nd. Cameron Dowds in 3rd. They're going like snail's pace in front. And Cameron Dowds now, all of a sudden, is looking like victory could be on the horizon. But he needs to close down quick.
Yeah, he has. I've got to say, Cameron's dad, whoever you are, what have you done? You've created a monster. He's going absolutely insane up there.
Look at the time he's gained as well. Coming through the first sector, he's gained 3 seconds nearly in the first sector alone. Maledictus and a Rocker are getting quite hard in terms of aggressive fighting here. Cortez is on the back of this as well. There's so much to go on about. There's more action happening further down the field. I do not know where there's going to be, and it could be 3 wide down the straight here with Maledictus and Arroca and Cortez, and this could end in tragedy for one. Cortez, though, is going to try and make a double overtake. He's on the outside line of Maledictus, in towards turn 8. He can't get the job done, and Maledictus, the Portuguese man, I think rightfully so, shuts the door. Cameron Dowds now, 2.6 seconds off the lead of the race. That ERS now is getting quite thin. That's the only thing I think that can stop him from winning. Nuth leading the way, Metsu in second, FER, TTG, Shazoo. It's a bit like the PSGL Esports Cup event this. Nuth leading the way, Metsu in second, Cameron Dowds in third, 2 seconds the gap. Cameron Dowds is going to be on the back of them into the final corner. Can he do it going onto the final lap? This is unbelievable, and I've never seen a race like this.
He's 1 second up in the lead now.
No way. He's going to go for the move.
No, he's not going to get the move in it. He's going to go for the move, and he's got it. He's going to get it. Now only enough remains. Only enough remains separates him from his first victory. Can he get him? Can he do it clean? He's got only 5%. Nuff has more energy than him. 25%.
Oh, this is easy. This is easy. Cameron Dowds is on the back of Nuff. Nuff making that Williams look as wide as possible, but it's not enough. And Cameron Dowds is going to take the race lead into turn 3. And I called it 3 laps ago. He could be on for the race win. You may as well trust me as your lead commentator for F3 as Metsu falls at the inside line and Nuff. This is unbelievable. Cameron Dowds now, in no certain terms, has won the French Grand Prix, but still half a lap to go. Metsu has got the move done, by the way, on Nuff. He's into second. Izza has crashed, I think, along with Rudy at the final corner, or is that Izza into the pit lane? I think it's Izza into the pit lane retiring. Rudy is also into the pit lane. Cameron Dowds, though, with Denzo and Maledictus round.
Maledictus' round. He had a collision with, I think it was Cortez or Rocca, and maybe Ron Zeus as well. Actually, no, it was Ron Zeus and Cortez.
Charlie said he's on Cameron Dowds' share play. I hope you're not driving for him. It's 2.8 seconds the gap. Cameron Dowds leading the way with still only half a lap to go. Coming through turn 11, this has been a drive that everyone can be standing on, because Cameron Dowds has literally, with 3 laps of the race to go, he was out of contention. You wouldn't have liked him for the race win. We saw otherwise, and Cameron Dowds, that strategy call, full set of wet, has come to absolute fruition as Cameron Dowds out of the final corner. This is his retribution hour. This is going to be his victory, and this is Cameron Dowds across the line to win the French Grand Prix by 5 seconds in the end. Metsu across the line to finish in second. Nuff in third. Really great drives from them all. They just got outdone by an absolute beast out on track. Joey in 4th, Ron in 5th, Denzel there in 6th hangs on. Cortez in 7th, DV19 and a drag race and Marquinhos to the line, and Marquinhos gains because of penalties to DV19. He's into 9th, Will Murdoch in 10th, DV19 in 11th, Dutch Missile in 12th, Menno in 13th. Maledictus, by the way, he didn't come into the pit lane. He goes, oh no, and there's a massive crash between himself and Menno. Maledictus in 14th, but Tuxai in the end in 15th. Marlon in the end jumps up to 15th. Dan Spreen 17th. Rudy, just for the sake of it, is on the sort of soft compound of tyres coming through turn 10, and he spins. He might end up in the wall here if he's not careful. Cameron Dowds, though, wins. Metsu in second. Nuff in third. What on earth have we just seen?
We have just seen one of the most insane runs, final stints in the history of PSGL. I never thought he was going to do that. I thought he was just going to be, okay, maybe he would have got 3rd, 4th or something, but the lead, my goodness. The heavens opened at the right time for him. Mother Nature was on Cameron Dowd's side tonight.
Just think of it this way. He was 12 seconds. 12 seconds off Maledictus at one point. He's ended up gaining 40 seconds, I would say, on the field in total time. Rudy, by the way, to the line is going to finish in 18th. He slides across the line, and for the sake of it, he was on that sort of soft compound tyre right at the end. But Cameron Dowds has taken the French Grand Prix. Driver of the Day awarded by the in-game fans. Surely, oh, it's Ron. Ron gets Driver of the Day awarded by the in-game fans. I don't think the in-game fans really like us, I think, in terms of commentary. But fantastic action. Cameron Dowds has taken the race win here in France, and possibly the best PSGL drive I think we've ever seen.
I can't disagree with you there. That was a run of the gods. It was Ayrton Senna-esque, and this guy is like, I'm like double the age of this guy. It's insane how he can do it.
As am I. Well, we won't reveal, by the way, to anyone that's viewing how old he might be, but you can probably just imagine how old we are compared to him. But Cameron Dowd has ended up winning 5th. He qualified, by the way. He was nowhere in qualifying, and I can't describe that performance. That was just the best drive I think I've ever seen anybody in my experience of commentary. Probably the best drive I think I've ever seen. Cameron Dowd wins from Mathieu in 2nd, Nothing 3rd, Joey in 4th, Ron, by the way, 17th up to 5th, so we'll grant him that in terms of the in-game fans. Drive of the day. Denzo in 6th, Cortez in 7th, Arocca in 8th, Marcados in 9th, Will Murdoch, by the way, picking up points down there in 10th. DV19, Dutch Missile, Menno, Maledictus, Marlon. What could have it been for Marlon if he didn't spin? Down there in 15th, so unfortunate, but Tuxai in 16th. Dan Spreen, by the way, did get fastest lap of the race in 17th, but I think it's outside of the top 10. That doesn't get the fastest lap points, so therefore he doesn't pick it up. Rudy in the end in 18th, only had 2 DNFs, and no VSCs or safety cars. Marass and Izza both out of the race. Cameron Dowd wins, Mathieu in 2nd, Nothing 3rd. Shall we try and get the top 3 in?
Let's try that. Yeah, but I'm trying to catch my breath. I'm sorry. That was like Sochi, but crazier. In my opinion.
That is.
So there was lightning. There
was lightning. I swear there was lightning. That light flash through turn 7, I've never ever seen on this game before. But Cameron Dowd takes the win. Cameron's dad, by the way, given his age there in the comments section, which I totally rate, because it is his dad, of course, that is commenting there. Cameron Dowd the wins, Mathieu in 2nd, Nothing 3rd. In my 4, 5, 6 years, I don't know how long I've been commentating, in my 4 or 5 year of commentating on an F1 game, I don't think I've seen such a thrilling end to a race like we've just seen in PSGL F3 tonight. And to anyone that was berating the likes of Jarno Opmeer in the comment section earlier, I hope you stuck by and watched this race, because honestly, this is the future of PSGL right here. Cameron Dowd's taking the win. Mathieu, by the way, if Cameron Dowd's pitted a lap later, he wouldn't have got the win. It's as simple as that. Mathieu and Nuth, 2nd and 3rd, would have extended that gap further by 1 lap on that set of inters, and therefore Mathieu and Nuth probably would have been 1st and 2nd. But Cameron Dowd, I called it 3 laps from the end. You should really trust me, I think, from this point onwards. Going from the break week, Cameron Dowd's all taking the way, Mathieu 2nd, Nothing 3rd. I really hope we're going to get Cameron in for an interview, because that is, as I say, probably the best drive I think I've ever seen in PSGL, and probably the best drive I've ever commentated on.
Probably here, same here as well. My gosh.
We have to take stock. What was that race? Just what was that race? And I really hope everyone enjoyed that. And my voice is well and truly gone after that final lap of the race. There was so much action. I think we missed moves further down the field just to cover the progress of Cameron Dowd's through. But my God, as Tactics I think has put in the comment section, future PSF3 champion Cameron Dowd's confirmed. He showed, before he got disqualified in Portsmouth, he showed ultimate pace. He had a 20-second penalty in, was it last week? No, it wasn't last week in Monaco. It was the week before in Britain, and he had a 20-second penalty. He didn't apply it to the stewards. He was outside of the points. Monaco didn't really go his way, even though he picked the podium. And now, in France, this man, possibly future champion.
I wouldn't doubt you on that one. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get the drivers in. I forgot who finished in the top 3 because of everything that happened.
Cameron Dowd, Mathieu and Nuth. Top 3.
Cameron Dowd, Mathieu and Nuth.
Yeah, I will run you through, by the way, the calendar that is upcoming, because we're going on a break next week. We won't be here, of course, and that is the given break week, the first of a couple of break weeks, in fact, in the calendar for season 30. When we return, we go to, now I'm going to probably butcher this name, we go to Mogurod in Hungary, or Magno Nadadec. Yes, I'm filling with my Hungarian for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Then it is Austria, then it is Saudi Arabia, Belgium, Netherlands, Brazil, Mexico. In fact, we run pretty much right the way through until round 13, after the United States and Austin, all the way to Italy in Imola, and then to Bahrain for round number 15 of the championship. And I really hope you're going to be sticking by for the rest of the season for PSF3, and in fact for all the other teams as well, because I know PSF1 is on at the minute. I don't think you could probably see a better drive than what Cameron Dowd has delivered in PSF1, if I've got to be honest. Sorry to Luke and Aiden if you're tuning in to PSF3 at the minute, but fantastic drive, and Nuff I can see has already joined us in the party, which is good to see. Of course, finishing third position in the end. Hopefully we will get the Scotsman in to interview, because I'm just hanging on tenterhooks. I want to ask him a lot of questions about that race. Oh,
I've just got a note. If Cameron Dowd got a 5-second penalty in that, he would have lost by 3 thousandths.
He would have. Now, hopefully, nobody looks at his pit entry or anything like that, because he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. Not again. Cameron Dowd takes the win here in France. And Cameron, I'm just going to say it right off the bat, best PSGL driver and best driver I've ever commentated on. Talk us through it.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to qualify in the medium, so I did, and then I was actually quite happy with the lap. It secured me P5, surprisingly. I thought that I was going to drop down a ton, but yeah, I got good start, and then it was just a case of preserving the tyres till the rain came, and then the rain came, and I felt a lot better in the rain than I did in the dry. And then it's a lot easier, like when you get into the lead in the rain, it's a lot easier to like drive away because there's no DRS and there's like no slipstream and stuff. So I managed to get past the 2 that were in front of me, and then I just kept my head down and kept going. And then it started like heavy rain, and then I was putting on weather report, and Jeff was telling me like it's raining really badly, and then I got a new strategy to put onto wet, and I was like, oh right, so everyone's just gonna pit. And then the top 5 didn't pit, and I was like, oh no. And then like my heart was racing for the last like 4 laps, because I didn't know if I was gonna catch them or not, but I managed to just in time.
You did indeed, and I think at one point you were 12 seconds off the back of Maledictus. I think you rejoined in P7 if I'm not mistaken. He was in P6. Did you feel you were ever going to catch these guys ahead of you?
To be honest, not really. I didn't really know, to be honest. At the time I was just trying to like keep my head down, but I seen when like the top 3 were like going into the like little chicane, and I was like only literally just entering the back straight, and I was like, no, I didn't think I'd catch that much of that, but the wets just came into their own territory.
I think fortunately for you as well, I said in commentary 3 laps before the end of the race that you were going to get the guys in front, and luckily you proved it right, and possibly one of the best drives, as I say, I think I've ever seen. And I know, Logan, you're probably going to come on to this as well. Have you got any questions for Cameron?
I think you asked them all.
Well, in that case then, of course, break week is next week, but the next race, of course, is in Hungary. Cameron, how do you think you're going to get on there? Is it going to be another masterclass?
Yeah, yeah, I like Hungary a lot. It's a good track. And since I'm on the wheel, I think it's quite wheel preferred because of like twisty sections. So yeah, I'm excited for Hungary. I quite like the track. Not at that much overtaking, but it's a fun track to drive.
It is a fun track to drive, especially so that you're now a race winner here in PSGL F3, and as I think Tactic said earlier on, you might be the future PSF3 champion. Whether we see that, of course, towards the end of the season remains to be seen.
PSF1.
Yeah, he's just won. He's just won. Don't put pressure on the young lad, honestly. But Cameron, go and enjoy your evening, because I think you deserve probably a hug, first of all, off your dad, and second of all, probably a cold one on us.
Yeah, thank you.
Very welcome indeed, and we'll now move on. I think we've just promoted a bit of drinking. Did I actually say that? Yes. But He can get a cold glass of water. There you go. Made up for it. Nothing in the end, finishing in P3. The German, of course, on the other end, of course, of Cameron Dowd's fantastic drive. Did you feel that you were going to get a top 2 result coming towards the end of the race there?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for it. I mean, it was basically 50-50, and yeah, it was at the end just one lap that was missing for me. If it would have been one lap less, then I probably could have held on. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? I didn't deserve to win today. There was only one guy who deserved to win today, and yeah, don't know what to say about it. I mean, I'm really happy that I got my podium, that I finally got a really good result in this season. And yeah, I would have liked to win the race, of course, but in the end, I just felt like it wouldn't have been deserved anyway. I mean, Cameron was just faster than everyone else, and by quite a margin. And on both attempts where he overtook me, I just felt like not really defending that hard, especially on the second overtake, because there was no point. He was much faster on the wet. But yeah.
I think the lap.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, it's just me saying that he deserved to win, basically.
Yeah, he really did deserve the win, I've got to be honest. But still for you, solid P3. First podium, I think, of the season as well, so you must be still very happy with that.
I'm extremely happy. Already was really happy with my quali lap, and then felt really good in the dry, and then as soon as it got wet, it was just... I had no pace left. I was lucky that I was in front, because obviously it's difficult to overtake in the rain. So I was managing it quite well, except for Cameron, because he was just way too fast. And yeah, then towards the end, Matthew came from behind, and I thought that I could hold him up, or could stay in P2, but I don't know where I got that other grip from. He gave me like 2 seconds on the last lap, so yeah, can't really complain about that either. So yeah, I'm definitely happy with the result, and I hope that I can repeat that at some point in the season again.
Yeah, it certainly looked from my point of view as well. When obviously Matthew overtook you, you were struggling with your tyres slightly as well. Was that the effect that you were having, especially towards the end on that Inters?
Yeah, it was incredibly difficult to even keep it on the track, and my setup was definitely not made for the rain, and I felt the effects definitely. And I think that's what pretty much lost me P2, because I felt like Matthew had just a much better setup for the rain, and it was definitely difficult to keep it on the track on the Inters, because it was so wet. It was basically like swimming on the track.
I know, it just changed so quickly in terms of the conditions as well. We saw the puddles form, I think, on lap 21, wet by lap 22, and then Cameron Dowd's drive by lap 27. It's just simply unbelievable, I think, in terms of what race we had there. I'm going to come across to you, Logan, if you have not stopped eating, which I can probably hear in the background.
Sorry, I didn't realise my mic was off. Well, nobody watches this part anyway, so I think I'm okay.
Have you got any questions for us?
You must have been... It must have been, for the both of you actually, it must have been really unusual, considering that, you know, the top three sit there times on softs, and they didn't... You pretty much knew when it was going to rain, but you didn't know when it was coming, and you didn't know if it was going to get heavier or not, and when. That must have been pretty tough to juggle whilst racing.
Yeah, definitely. It was pretty much a gamble. At the point where the first guys went for the wets, it was basically too late. At least in my case, I just continued on and hoped that it wouldn't get too strong, and it was okay. I mean, I basically just lost one position, so I'm definitely happy with my decision.
Yeah, definitely. Logan, are you back?
Sorry, I turned my mic off of mute so I could hear you clearly. But yes, I've got to say well done to both of you, especially Cameron Dowds. What a performance! I've never seen anything like it. Well done enough on getting into second, though. You know, it was a really difficult race. It could have gone anyone's way. But, you know, I couldn't think of a more deserving drive to win a race like that from Cameron, so well done.
Yeah, definitely so. And just before you go as well, Hungary coming up in 2 weeks' time. How do you think you're going to get on?
Probably one of my worst tracks, so I just want to survive.
Want to survive. That's probably everyone's mantra, I think, around there in Hungary. But go and enjoy Ethan. And that concludes the interviews for tonight. So big thank you to Cameron, big thank you to Nut as well. Fantastic, of course, to get both of you in. Looking through, bit of reaction as well from Rudy, if I'm not mistaken. He had a broken wheel, apparently. Inters when full wets are quicker. Underbody damage from lap 1 onwards. The worst league racing experience of my life, is what he has said on Twitter, which is unfortunate, but there are still more races to come, as I say. Hungary in 2 weeks' time. We'll probably go on jet off on our sunny holidays, could we call it? Sunny holidays for break week? I don't know. I haven't got anything planned, to be honest, but there we are.
Or like stormy holidays with all these storms coming about and all this stuff happening.
No surprise, we live in the UK, no wonder we're getting a lot of storms. But absolutely fantastic. Chad as well saying, man, what a finish. As I say, best PSGL driver I think I've ever seen, and that's across any tier of any season, I think, as well, which is so, so good. And hopefully Cameron Dowds can continue on his good form going into Hungary, of course, in 2 weeks' time. A big thank you, of course, to Logan for joining me in the commentary box. As always, we are probably now going to enjoy the rest of our Valentine's Day as well. I know certainly one of us might enjoy better than the other, but still. That is the end of the stream tonight for PSGL F3. Of course, if you have liked the stream, like, comment, subscribe, tick the notification bell, of course. If you're new, tiers like PSF1, of course, are live. I think they're just about to start racing there, if I'm not mistaken, as well, unless they've already got underway. They're already underway, and you can go on and tune in for that now. We're done here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, in 2 weeks' time, goodbye.
Good night.